Okay, so this is going to be a guide on Daikai. Daikai normally is plus 6, but when you recovery cancel it, you actually gain extra plus frames, so it allows you to do some cool stuff. So as you see here, if I just start with forward fierce, I'm all the way under the timer. Now, this is one of the easiest moves to recovery cancel, because you can literally just hold forward during the animation, and you'll stay recovery canceled, or you'll stay having the ability to recovery cancel it. Because you're getting that input at the first possible second of the recovery. It's kind of complicated to explain, but that's what's happening. Um, so you end up staying here, which means standing light kick, crouching light kick, standing heavy punch, far standing medium punch, and then in some situations standing heavy kick or sweep. So we're going to take a look at what happens when you properly recovery cancel this off of the normal way that people use Daikai, and that's off of crouching medium kick. Now, I fucked up the timing there, but as you can see, if you're so plus off of this particular thing that the crouching medium kick, if you fuck up the timing, ends up hitting them. And then you get crouching medium kick forward fierce. And that's one of the reasons why Yuns will use this a lot. And then if you fuck up the inputs, you get forward medium kick and you end up getting hit. Now, if you don't get the recovery cancel, you're going to be too far away for the crouching medium kick to hit. See? But if you get the recovery cancel, then the crouching medium kick will actually be in range. So as you can see there, I was able to use the entirety of my geneijin meter while doing crouching medium kick forward fierce. Now, that works because crouching forward is a 4-frame move, and you are plus, I think, 9 after a recovery canceled forward fierce. But what happens if you just do forward fierce, forward fierce, forward fierce, forward fierce? Does that work? Now, if you know, I obviously just hit the button to run incorrectly. But if you do setups like crouching medium kick, stand fierce, forward fierce, and then you're able to do forward fierce after that, it'll either hit them or they're going to block it. So either you'll fuck up by 1 frame and they'll get hit, or they'll block it. Now, this only matters if you are able to do this as fast as possible, right? Because if you're not, then there's no way that you're going to be able to hit them. So that's 4 forward heavy punches before she's able to hit me. And she's only programmed the block for like half a second before she mashes the down jab. So there's plenty of time for crouching medium kick into forward fierce. And there's plenty of time for, you know, forward fierce to get to the point where it's plus enough where it'll hit the startup of their move with the recovery canceling. So that's why you'll see forward fierce, forward fierce, forward fierce sometimes from Yuns, is because they're aiming to try to hit a jump or something like that. Because other than that, if you are far enough away, the only real option is forward medium kick. Unless you Kara. So if you let the entire recovery finish, instead of canceling it like this, then you can Kara crouching medium kick or Kara crouching light kick, depending on what you're doing. Now, depending on the timing that you get from this, you'll be able to hit the startup of a crouching light punch. Now, in order to get Kara crouching light kick, you have to recovery cancel forward or back, and then do neutral, medium punch, and a crouching leg kick. Because if you're too far away, it doesn't connect, right? But if you let the recovery finish completely off of a very, very close crouching medium kick forward fierce, you can continue your pressure. So you can do the same thing off of forward fierce crouching medium kick into Kara. Oops. Same sort of thing. So it opens up a lot of different routes as far as getting back in on your opponent. But the most important part is that standing light kick off of a carried or a recovery canceled forward fierce is going to give you exactly the pressure that you need to maintain getting back in for Zempo. And because the variance between standing and crouching light kick exists, you can do standing light kick, slight delay, micro step crouch light kick, and catch the startup animation of her down jab. Now, Chun-Li's down jab is obviously the fastest move in the game. So all of this stuff is very important as far as getting back in and understanding that this works on every character. Because if Chun-Li can't down jab you, then no character is going to really be able to do anything. So the other thing here is that if you do forward fierce and then you recovery cancel, you can actually get a standing heavy kick or you can get a sweep. So as you can see, she blocked the standing heavy kick. And the standing heavy kick is a 9-frame move. And I'm only +6. So I should have been hit if recovery canceling doesn't give you extra plus frames. So when doing stuff like this, you can slightly delay after the micro step in order to get a sweep or a standing heavy kick. So this is why you'll see Sho and Ushi use standing heavy kicks sometimes inside of their pressure. It's almost always off of a forward heavy punch. And the reason for this is because it also tags jumps. So forward heavy punch is 10 frames and both standing heavy kick and crouching heavy kick are 9 frames, which makes it a little bit easier to use. And standing fierce is 7 frames. So you can also go for stuff like that. So you can go right into Daipan loop. Now, as soon as you go for something like a forward medium kick, you're just going to get hit. Now, if you don't recovery cancel it fast enough, the far standing light kick is not going to work. So when using this move, you have to understand when and how to manipulate when you're going to do things and what you want to do. So that was Kara crouching medium kick. So after a certain amount of time, your opponent, if they try to do anything, is going to get hit, whether they try to jump or they try to do whatever. And if they don't, then you get back in for free with either a Kara crouching medium kick into pressure, Kara crouching light kick into pressure, Daipan loop into pressure, because you can go right from Daipan loop into Kara crouching light kick into stand light kick or whatever you want to do. Or you can just hit them with the Daipan. This is also why you'll see forward fierce, forward fierce, forward fierce done, is because even after Daipon loop, if you want to like make sure that you can possibly hit your opponent, they may or may not think that they can get out at the spacing that you're at because of forward medium kick or, whatever. You're too far away to hit them. So as you can see there, that was forward fierce into Kara crouching light kick. Now, being able to do walk, stand, light kick into crouching light kick is also important on pressure. So it's also important to note that if you manage to bait your opponent into crouching light punch, forward fierce is not going to work. As a parry punish. So as you can see, if they're mashing the button instead of just pressing it once, they're going to get hit. Or you're going to get hit, I should say. So getting Zempo off of forward fierce is not really possible. So that's why a lot of people will end up doing like recovery cancel into like palm or something. Which is not that strong, but it's an option if your opponent is respecting you. But it's very difficult to get the proper recovery canceling in order to get it to work. Because you still have to be out of the down jab range and the palm to come out. So you need to actually do this with a back cancel. Now, if you do this and your opponent is just mashing down jab, it may or may not hit them, obviously. So in this particular case, her hitbox is not large enough for it to hit her. It does work on other larger characters, though, such as Dudley and Urian. So a lot of people tend to do, forward medium kick. But if your opponent has good reactions, they're just gonna hit you for it. So although this is an option, it's not really recommended. So that's just a very basic setup, and you can be as creative with this as you want. Something like that, which is a Daipon loop off of crouching medium punch, forward fierce, crouching medium punch, forward fierce into Daipon loop, which if you get it like a frame or two late, you'll actually hit the startup of their move. Just like that. So that was 95 damage on my opponent for hitting their move at the opportune time inside of a block string off of a move that's supposed to push me really far away. Now, if you try to do shoulder inside of geneijin, it's not as good. The block advantage of shoulder for medium punch is 5. So it's almost as good as the forward fierce, but you can't recovery cancel your special move. But they will be forced to block if you go Tetsuzan into, crouching medium kick or whatever. Or it sets up a frame trap. So it's very similar. But not exactly the same. Because you're not able to cancel your recovery and not fast enough, or walk forward enough, I should say, be close enough to your opponent off of whatever, off of the shoulder in order to get any pressure other than this or this. So this is why being able to cancel your forward fierce is important as well. Because if you just delay after your Tetsuzan and you do forward fierce, it's basically a frame trap, which is another reason why you see it. So, you can go Daipon loop into forward fierce as much as you want, and you'll more than likely catch your opponent if they try to do something. It's also, parry bait. If you do something like this enough, where they'll start to try to high parry the forward fierce, then you can just go for Kara crouching medium kick instead. Oops. So instead of going for like the forward fierce, as you can see there, she blocked it, but going for like Kara crouching medium kick. Let's see if I can get it correctly. Seems like it's harder to do the frame trap. There we go. So it's only 73 damage off of that, but, it's relatively strong. So, just to recap, you can go into Kara standing light kick. Not Kara, but you can go into recovery cancel standing light kick. Recovery cancel crouching light kick. Recovery cancel crouching medium kick. Recovery cancel standing heavy punch. And then you can also recovery cancel into standing heavy roundhouse and sweep, as I showed earlier. Let's just show the sweep one more time. And anything in geneijin that is not that knocks your opponent down, whether it's they drop or whatever, you end up getting a hard knockdown no matter what. So it's important to understand that getting a sweep, especially mid-screen for something like this, is really important. Or not really important, but it's really beneficial. So there's all sorts of other ways, like I was saying before. Kara crouching medium kick off of the forward fierce, but you let the recovery finish. And then you can also recovery cancel and then go for Kara crouching light kick with neutral standing medium punch. Oops. As you can see, the Kara crouching light kick there actually hit my opponent. And for whatever reason, I'm getting the fucking up kicks because my execution's terrible right now. So, yeah, there's plenty of ways that you can get in. And if you're not close enough, you're not going to be able to do the close standing heavy medium. So you have to parry crouching light kick instead. Like that. So the further you are away, if someone's trying to do something like this, you're not going to be able to do the normal pressure stuff. Like that. As a way to deal with it. But there's all sorts of ways that you can get forward fierce into better pressure. So you're maintaining all of your ability to stay close to your opponent. And as you can see there, just doing multiple forward fierces actually inches me closer to my opponent. So it's very good as far as maintaining pressure, and it's a tool that you can use to go for high-low setups with Daipon loop and crouching medium kick, or Kara crouching medium kick, Kara crouching light kick, whatever you want. Forward medium kick is also an option if your opponent's just blocking, but if they're trying to contest with buttons, then it's not really a good choice. Obviously, you can still go for shoulder, and if you go for shoulder, always go for the medium punch shoulder because it's +5. Heavy punch shoulder is +3. So if you're doing shoulder inside of pressure, it should always be medium punch shoulder. So that pretty much covers everything as far as Daikai goes. The other thing is that, like, when you're really far away from your opponent and they're blocking, it's really easy to keep them in block stun from this range with Kara crouching medium kick. So let's record them just blocking low. And pressing buttons every once in a while. Right? So it hit her from very far away. So block. Blocks the entire time, right? Obviously, she's not doing whatever most of the time, but from very far away, it's a lot easier to do crouching medium kick, Kara crouching medium kick forward fierce again, and then cancel into walk stand leg kick. Like that. I'll show that one more time. This is also why, if you train your opponent to look for this, you can go for the overhead as well. So you can go like whatever, or you can go for the any move that is only high parryable. So forward fierce into Kara fierce. Now if you do Kara fierce, just be ready to go for like walk forward crouching leg kick or something like that. Oops. So if you go into Daipon loop, you can do the Kara crouching leg kick a little bit easier. So if you don't go for Kara crouching light kick or Kara crouching medium kick off of the farthest, it's going to be harder to get back in. But if you do recovery cancel from far away with forward, and then you go for Kara crouching light kick, it's possible to get back in. But it requires, you're under the timer, or if you're farther than that, it's a lot more difficult. Because you have to do multiple forward fierces, or you have to do a shoulder or something to get in. Now, if you're recovery canceling this, your shoulder is 8 frames, so it should hit your opponent as well if they're just like mashing down jab or something. But the further the further you are away, you might want to do Kara forward fierce into recovery cancel, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get into the crouching medium kick forward fierce type chain. And that's super important from far away. So as long as you're not like this far away when you go for forward fierce, because it doesn't hit, right? Most of the time it's under timer, and that's like the max distance that you really want to go for it. But you can go for Kara forward fierce and then Kara crouching medium kick after that. So that pretty much actually covers everything this time. Kara crouching medium kick is very, very strong after this, but forward fierce, especially up close, is a very viable option as far as pressure goes. And delaying it off of a crouching leg kick is not a terrible option. So let's make her mash down jab one more time. God damn it, why is it not blocking? So because it is your plus 13 and your Daikai takes 10 frames, you actually have to recovery cancel your crouching leg kick, which can make you end up dashing like that. So it can be a risk. So it's like crouching jab, jab, crouching leg kick, leg kick, forward fierce. And you can maintain pressure after that with, you know, the recovery cancel stand leg kick or the recovery cancel crouching leg kick. You can do it off of, Daikai into standing heavy punch into forward fierce. And if you go for forward medium kick, obviously you're going to get hit. Why am I doing forward medium kick? And obviously if you don't cancel fast enough off of your standing heavy punch, it will not work. But as you can see there, it can also be used as a frame trap if you use it correctly. Alright, so one more time. That was shitty on my part. So if you're starting to get pushed far away from your opponent, you can just do crouching leg kick far away into forward fierce. Or you can do medium punch forward fierce as well. Because if you do like medium punch forward fierce into recovery cancel, It's a little bit more difficult, but you can get your pressure started with a walk forward standing light kick. Or a recovery cancel stand light kick. So you'll see stuff like that a lot, right? Where you'll get like Daipon forward fierce. And that's relatively good because the Karas from the Daipon loop is keeping you close enough for the forward fierce to allow for walk forward crouching leg kick or walk forward standing leg kick. Or Kara crouching medium kick, which is obviously part of my muscle memory at this point. But recovery canceling just off of like Daipon loop sometimes can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, because obviously it's very spacing dependent. I hate 30th. The other thing here is that if you use the crouch, the Kara, not the Kara, but if you use the full forward fierce, if you use the forward fierce and then you go for whiff crouching medium kick into forward fierce again, you can catch your opponent as well. God damn it. One more attempt and that'll be the last thing that I show. So yeah, so you can set up traps other ways as well, off of forward fierce by letting it recover fully. You can do the same thing with whiffing standing light kick or whiffing standing light punch. If you whiff standing light punch and then you option parry forward, a majority of the time your opponent's not going to be able to do anything. Or it's going to give you the right amount of frames for the whiff to allow you to hit your opponent afterward. So whiffing a standing light punch after a forward fierce recovery cancel is also not bad either. I think this is something that Nikki-KO does a lot in his pressure, because if your opponent just blocks low, let's go back to idle, crouch. Depending on the character, you will be able to just whiff over them. Or force proximity guard. And that's another important thing that can be useful. And this has been super rambly, so welcome to a rambling video.